Hi guys, how's it going? Caitlin here, and I hope you're excited for another week of meal prep. This is a love yourself later activity where you do some work now, and for the rest of your week, supper just lines up and everything falls into place, and then your evenings fall into place, and it's just a good thing to do. What is on the menu this week? We have breakfast sandwiches, fried chicken salad, and build your own pizza night. So should be a good, delicious week. Hope you guys are pumped for it. If you don't have your prep list yet, check the description in this video. In the description, you're gonna find a link to find your prep list, nice and simple. And let's go, shall we? I have 3 different varying levels of prep. If you want to have the timetable results that you see in the meal plan, then aim to do level 3. If you don't have all the gumption to do it, you'll love yourself even if you just make it to level 1, or if you do level 2, or somewhere in between. There's also shortcuts along the way, things you can take off of this prep list, because I'm prepping a lot this week. I'm not gonna lie, I'm allergic to like everything in life. A lot of things have to be made from scratch. If you're not, awesome, don't brag about it to me, but you can definitely find some shortcuts, okay? So I'm going to recommend we start with something in level 3, because level 3 is things that you can do while you're doing other things, you know? So I'm actually gonna start my air fryer just preheating here, because I'm gonna get some sausage rounds ready. Shortcut here, if you can find breakfast sausage rounds that are gluten-free and they also fit within your dietary limitations, perfect. You can use those instead for your breakfast sandwiches, or you can use bacon. You don't have to use sausage rounds. However, if you want to make your own sausage rounds, it can be a little cheaper and you get to control what goes into it, so you have more control over the ingredients. Okay. So I just put mine to air fry for 10 minutes. I honestly don't know how long it's gonna take, but I figure it should be around then, a little more, a little less-ish. We'll find out. If I smell burning, then 10 minutes is too long. So just gonna get my bowl out here. And find my seasoning for it. So let's see. So you can easily make your own sausages. I'm using ground pork. If pork is not your jam, you could also use chicken or turkey, or, you know, beyond fake meat things or whatever's your jam, you go for it. Now I'm going to add, I have so many seasonings. I'm sure if you guys you have your prep list, you're getting things out, you're like, I am taking literally every seasoning out of my cupboard. However, like I said, there's the shortcuts. If you don't need to make your own breakfast sandwiches, then you do not have to worry about this one. So I'm gonna take out some sage, garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, and salt. That's all, just half my cupboard. Okay. Sage is always a delicious one. Since it's delicious, we use a whole bunch. You could also use, if you wanted to, chili flakes or something. If you want your sausage to have a little bit of kick, you could do that. I just put in twice as much black pepper. Oops. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's a good thing about doing it yourself. You can be like, yeah, I totally meant to have a half a teaspoon of black pepper in these. That was 100% the way I planned it, even if you didn't. I'm gonna throw just a touch of maple syrup in there for sweetness. Now I'm just gonna smoosh her all up together. And I have this funky spatula scraper thingy. It's called a mix and chop spatula, and it's kind of meant for chopping up meat and also scraping and doing whatever. So I am going to use, for this, a burger press. You could put them together with your hands. Nothing wrong with that at all. I am just doing mine in a burger press so I don't have to touch the meat so much. It's one of my things. I really hate touching raw meat. I will take anything I can to not touch raw meat because I just find it a little icky. Now, if you'd like to, you can make your sausage rounds bigger. I'm using a 1/2 cup scoop. I want to make them fairly thin, but if you wanted to do them smaller, like slider size, you could do that as well. Definitely stuck on there a little. I'm just gonna retry that. Oil will definitely be your friend with this, because ground meat likes to stick to everything. Kind of why I don't want to smush it all over my hands, if I can avoid it. It's a little broken, whatever. Give a little smush on there and say good enough. Yes, I hear you. It's quicker than I am. Doesn't take much. I am neither the quickest nor the most skilled in the kitchen, but I do what I can. Don't gotta be pro. Yeah, like if any of these recipes were hard, I would not be having them in my meal plan. Chunk in there. There we go. There's one tray. Do one more tray of them here. So if you put in a 1/4 cup, it's going to be like sort of half the thickness of a burger. If you put in half a cup, so 2/4 cup scoops instead, you're gonna be getting about burger-sized thickness patties. So, which for me is just a little too thick. It's a little much for me, but nasty. Some of it just fell in my hand. Yuck. Massacred that one, per usual. There's a reason I'm not a professional chef, guys. Well, probably more than one reason. Actually, before I came down with allergies, I never really cooked at all. It was my husband who did most of the cooking. He enjoys being in the kitchen probably more than I do, and he loves entertaining and making food and having people in, and that's not really me. I'd be suggesting, hey, let's go out somewhere and grab something to eat, rather than he's like, oh yeah, come over, we'll have a barbecue and make things and have our own drinks, and which is lovely, but it was only once I started becoming allergic to life that I really started to cook, because I missed things. I missed the things that I used to be able to go out and grab, and it was so easy to go do it, you know? And then once I couldn't do that anymore, it's like, well, turns out I still want to eat all those things, so I had to learn how to make them. But I still didn't want to spend a lot of time cooking, so I just tried to learn how to do them easy. There we go, got the air fryer started. I'm just gonna wash my hands. So those are gonna heat up really, really, really easy on the night I have them. All right, now, shall we start with level 1? I know you might be like eons ahead of me at this point, in which case, that's all right. That is okay. I'm gonna start preparing some of the veggies for my pizza. There are going to be a couple things that you always want to have when you are meal prepping, and that is a sharp knife and a cutting board. You always want to have a nice sharp knife, and why do you want a sharp knife? So you don't cut yourself. Which sounds kind of ironic to have something really sharp so that you won't hurt yourself, but it does actually make sense. If you have a crappy knife, you're going to be using more of a sawing motion. It's going to take you more effort. It's going to take you more effort to do it, and then you are more likely, during all that extra motion, to cut yourself or have the knife slip if it doesn't have a good cutting edge. So you want to strike true, and you do that by having a nice sharp knife and taking care of it, honing that blade often when you use it. So our pizza, it's gonna be keeping it pretty traditional, going with onion and peppers, probably some pineapple, because that's our jam. That we're going to have leftover of the KFC chicken this week in my plan, because I plan on throwing some of that on my pizza. The kids, they'll probably have sausage on theirs. They're big, mild Italian sausage pizza people. There you go. Onions. All right, I'm also gonna cut up a pepper. I don't want it cut as small as my food chopper would do it, so I think I'm actually just gonna put it in slices to go on the pizza. You could dice it, you could make pepper rings, you could do whatever you wanted to do. And then my pineapple is going to be straight from the can. I like to keep her classy like that. But there we go. We got some pizza toppings ready. I am going to cut up some potatoes for hash browns to go with my breakfast sandwiches, just because I think they're going to go awesome on the side. I am going to use my food or my mandolin to make it happen. This is my rapid cut mandolin. I love it because it's safe and I'm not. So it's got all these shields and everything in place. It also has dials in the back, so I don't have to play with any blades. So I have it set to a perfect French fry setting right now. I'm going to start my potatoes as French fries, and then I'm going to put the French fries back through again to turn it into hash browns. Just telling me to turn these around my oven thingy, my burners at the side, so I just gonna flip these. There we go. So I'm just gonna see it makes it into perfect little French fries. It's durable, I hope. Don't think I'm getting much of a warranty on that if I broke it. I have ceramic tile and it is like honestly the least forgiving surface to ever drop anything on. Whenever I drop anything on, I'm like, well, that's gone forever, because 9 times out of 10 it is. But no, this is looking pretty good right now. So we are just going to be happy about that. So I'm just putting my French fries back through again, and I'm just standing them up. Shortcut for this, buy yourself some hash browns or tater tots if you want to do that. And you see, it just cuts it into little hash browns for me. For some reason, I often find, and I know like tater tots and stuff like that, they're also quite processed. This way, it's just potatoes, and I personally like potatoes. There's lots of vitamins, lots of nutrients in them, and I got Irish heritage, and they kept my people alive for quite some time. So Got zero complaints about potatoes for my diet. Smush those in there. Now, to store these after, I'm just going to put them in water. Cover them in water. They're good like that for days, and it actually helps them to get more crispy. So, definitely a shortcut for this if you decide you want to just buy yourself a bag of hash browns. Always be careful though, because there are a lot of hash browns I found may contain for wheat, or they'll have some mystery ingredients in them. So if that is something that matters to you, then maybe it's worth it doing this. And for me, it's like, I bought a 10-pound bag of potatoes for $2.50. If I was getting a small bag of hash browns at my grocery store, it would cost me about $5. And either one of those is going to last, or the potatoes are going to last me a whole bunch of meals. Those hash browns are going to last me one. And there will be other ingredients that go in with them as well. So you're never going to be able to eat perfect, because nobody has the time, the will, or the energy for that. But this is one that I'm willing to do. There we go. So I got tons of hash browns ready to go for my breakfast sandwich dinner, and I'm gonna be happy I put in this effort because I love little hash browns, man. Like, cooked in a bunch of oil, they're just delicious. So, just gonna throw some water in that, throw a cover on it. And then those are good to go in the fridge. Nice and easy. Okay, can do some more chopping. Get some of my salad ingredients ready. Try to dry off my hands a little bit so I can get these out. There we go. Got my sausage patties ready. Those look awesome. They smell good. Man, I'm excited for the breakfast for supper is like the best, especially if you're making it like, if you know what I mean by the kind of breakfast you want to eat, but you really don't want to have to make it. And oh, chopping up some celery for salad. So I guess I could have used a mandolin for this too, eh? Oh wow. Sometimes it's just kind of therapeutic to go at something and chop it with a knife, especially if it's something that's like pretty easy to chop, like celery. I don't know. Yeah, I don't actually want to go out someplace and order a nice big breakfast like that, because usually I can't eat it. It's hash browns that are made in a fryer, it's a shared fryer, or they're pan fried, but everything else is cooked on that same surface, and they're cooking pancakes on that same surface. And so all of a sudden, you know, something that isn't even gluten filled is all of a sudden gluten filled, and it's just one of those things. So being able to have it at home and just have these little things prepped in advance to make it super simple is kind of a nice treat. So there aren't many places where you can go out and actually order a breakfast sandwich. There is a spot in my town though here that does a really nice one. If you ever, take a wrong turn and you get lost in Enfield, Nova Scotia, I highly recommend finding Cup of Soul, and you can get yourself a breakfast sandwich there, gluten-free. At any time of day. They're one of those places that closes, I think, at like 4 o'clock or something though. Alright, there we are. So, got me some celery, all chopped up for salad. I'm gonna get some carrot ready to go on the salad as well. So you can use a cheese grater to cut your carrot, or if you want to, you can also just use your peeler on the carrot and just, make yourself some little peelings. Do whatever's more appealing. Okay, I won't quit my day job. Though sadly, this is kind of my day job, so no, I still gotta eat. I'm not gonna quit it. Let's just cut off the little gnarly end. So cutting off the gnarly end there. And then I'm just gonna go to grating it. Or peeling it. You know what, you can do whatever you want with it. So I had the weirdest little carrots in the world. So I had 2 carrots in hopes that they'd kind of make up a whole carrot, but not sure how that's going. So just go ahead until it's at a point where you're like, that's just too awkward and not worth it to cut anymore, and then you can end it there. There we go. So I got some carrot cut up, ready to go. If you wanted to put like a little bit of water in there, it's gonna keep it fresher. If you're gonna be eating it like tomorrow or today, because really you can eat these in any order that you want to eat them, then you're probably good just to have it like that. So last is to chop lettuce. If you got yourself a head of lettuce, I actually have spinach instead to go with mine, so it's baby spinach, so I don't have to do any chopping of my lettuce. But if you want to chop some lettuce, you can chop some lettuce now. And yeah, you are done with level 1. If that's all you have in you, you did awesome, you did wicked. And I hope you enjoy every bite this week. If you're still with me, you're still with me, and that's awesome, and I'm so excited. And let's shred up some cheese, shall we? So there are shortcuts for this as well. You could decide that you want to purchase already shredded cheese, which is fine. There is more ingredients in already shredded cheese, and you tend to spend more. You tend to spend more for it because, save yourself some effort. You're going to be spending more money is just kind of the way it usually goes. And if you want to do cheese slices for your breakfast sandwiches, You can just buy cheese slices, always check the ingredients, make sure there's no gluten containing ingredients in it, or you can slice your block of cheese like this, or you can just shred it all and say, you know what, good enough. And that's kind of where I am right now. I'm just gonna shred all the cheese and then I'm gonna have it for breakfast sandwiches, and if you wanted to shred extra now and have it for snacks, because cheese always tastes better when it's shredded and prepared, especially if it's in the fridge for something else. That is when the little miniature humans you've created are going to decide, you know what, I want shredded cheese today, and they'll eat the whole thing before you have a chance to use it. So if you know that about you and your house and your family, you can prepare for that. So we want to have probably, if you're using all shredded, about 2.5 cups or more. If you don't want to measure, about half of the block is going to be about 2 cups of cheese, so you can just guess from there. Yeah, one thing people don't like about grating their own cheese, having it grated at home, is that it can tend to stick together. And that's exactly why when you buy it and it's already grated, that's why there's extra additives in it. They add extra things to your cheese so that it does not stick together, which is both nice and potentially a little gross. We can all take shortcuts and there is no shame in it. But it's always nice just to be aware. Like, I don't mind if something is processed. I just want to know how it's processed and why it's processed, and then I can make a decision on whether it's worth having in my house or if it's worth me doing something like this and prepping in advance, you know? Because really, it doesn't take a ton of effort to shred cheese. And you're already here, you're already doing the things, so it's like, well, might as well, you know? So I'm gonna grate up some pizza cheese as well. By the way, guys, the pizza, if you were using the recipe that I have there for pizza crust, it is for 1 pizza crust. So if you do pizza and you're all having, like, you know, a slice or 2, and you're having, say, salad on the side, and pizza is part of the meal and not the whole meal, then you guys might be fine just having 1 nice large pizza to share. If, however, you're like, no, there's 2 people who are eating a large pizza and 2 other people eating a large pizza, awesome. Then just double the recipe. No, instead of doing up 2 cups of cheese right now, you're doing up 4 cups of cheese, and that you are doubling the pizza dough recipe, okay? Man, I've had like Apartment by Bruno Mars stuck in my head for literally days now. It's like going through my head while I'm doing this. I'm like, dang, I should have that on. And I'm like, oh yeah. You, my friend, might not be into my jams that are going on in my head, so I will neither sing it nor play it. But you know what? Bring your own jams to meal prep. So why not? You know, dance it out while you're here. Bring yourself a glass of wine. Have a sip. Enjoy yourself. Might as well have a little fun while you're doing this, eh? Because this truly is self-care. There's some pizza cheese ready. Okay, guys, we're gonna prep, I'm gonna prep some KFC copycat seasoning because that is one of the things that I like and that I miss. However, if you want to, you can skip doing this part. You can just take a couple tablespoons of your favorite seasoning that would taste good on fried chicken and take 2 tablespoons of that and 2/3 cup of flour and mix that together and call it a day. If you're missing some KFC and you wanna like reminisce, make this. If you wanted to, you could make a smaller batch of this because you're only gonna need about 2/3 of a cup and you're making much more than that. However, in defense of making more, we're mixing up quite a few things right now, okay? And sometimes you're gonna feel more motivated than others. It's gonna stay fine if you put it in a jar and you have it there for a while. It's gonna be just fine in there. So, like, why not? Just make more now. And you can also make like, because you can throw it on anytime you're doing like fried chicken or air fried chicken, or even if you're making a gravy, you can use it in your gravy and it'll just be delicious. Just take a little broth, a little butter, little seasoning here, and since it has the flour in it, it's gonna thicken it up. So that's my thoughts. Why not? While we're doing a thing, we might as well do more of the thing, right? So I have just turned to the KFC seasoning copycat in the prep plan there because there's a whole bunch of different seasonings there. Also, if you do not have this big of a seasoning collection, then you might want to do the 2 tablespoons of your favorite seasoning rub and 2/3 cup of flour instead of doing all this. So just know there are options. There are options for you, okay? So, some thyme. Basil. Well, I mean, KFC seasoning is supposed to have like, you know, what is it, 12 or 14 different seasonings, something like that. So, and this is a copycat seasoning I found on Wikipedia, and I honestly just changed it around a little bit from there. I think every time I've used it, I've tweaked it like tiny little bits. I think it's just to match whatever I'm feeling at the time. Empty. Something else for the shopping list. So paprika there. Paprika is one of those seasonings actually, like you want to make sure that you have a decent paprika. You don't want to go for just like the cheapest paprika. You don't want to go just for the cheapest paprika that you can find. You want it to be a nice one because when you have a nice paprika, it has a nice flavor to it. It really is half your spice cupboard in here if you're doing this. In fact, I think to anybody who is not gluten-free, this would seem like a very excessive step to have KFC copycat, when you could just go to KFC and not put an entire spice cupboard into a mix. However, gluten-free friends, we are not those average people. We are not those regular people. We are those people that don't mind putting a little bit of effort into something if it's going to satisfy a craving that we have and cannot satisfy in another way. So finding gluten-free fried chicken at all is a little bit of a challenge. But finding something that's like KFC-like, completely different challenge altogether. So there we go. So I've got my KFC seasoning done, ready, and mixed up. Next, I'm gonna make up some croutons, okay? So making croutons is honestly pretty easy. Shortcut, buy yourself some gluten-free croutons. However, I think when you see how easy it is to put them together, you're not gonna wanna pay the premium on, you're not gonna wanna pay the premium that you pay for buying gluten-free croutons, because honestly, why bother? Okay? So I've got 4 slices of bread here, all right? We are literally just going to cube up the bread, whatever size you have always envisioned your perfect crouton to be. Maybe you like big croutons, maybe you like little croutons, maybe you like in-betweeny size croutons. Maybe you want them shaped like diamonds instead of shaped like squares. I'm just kidding. Okay, if you want them shaped like diamonds instead of squares, just turn them sideways. What? Sorry. Okay. Continuing to cube my bread. So literally all we are going to do with this, I'm going to throw in some oil. If you wanted to, you could use garlic oil, or you could use a garlic parmesan oil. I'm just going to put in, we're going to put in a dash of salt. A little pepper. If you wanted to, you could put some Italian seasoning in it. Like, you really could do just about anything. I'm gonna throw in a little bit of parsley, mostly just because it gives it some color. And throw in a clove of garlic. Gonna mix that all together a little bit there. Hey guys, that's all it takes. So I'm just gonna throw it into a pan. There we go. So I just got it in there for about okay. So I got it in there for about 4 minutes, then I'll check on it. Usually about 4 or 5 minutes, somewhere in that ballpark. They're gonna be crispy enough for you and you are good to go. Okay, so nice and easy. So the croutons are cooking. I'm also gonna put together my pizza crust. So shortcuts for this: get yourself gluten-free pizza crust that's already made, and then you're good to go. You can just add toppings to it. You may get results better if you are making your own pizza crust. I do have a pizza crust, or sorry, I'm gonna make my pizza sauce first. You could just buy pizza sauce that's already made, although it doesn't take a ton of seasonings to make yourself a good pizza sauce, okay? It really does not. Does not take a lot of time or a lot of effort, because who has time or effort, right? Like, especially not when it comes to be that time of day. So, sorry, I'm all over the place. Okay, so I'm gonna start with a can of tomato sauce. And just to add more depth of flavor to it, I'm gonna add some tomato paste as well. About 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. The rest of this, if you want to, while it's open, because I know it's a pain trying to think of what you're gonna do with the rest of a can of tomato paste. Even though they're little, it's like you're not using it every day. Best thing to do with this is to portion it into 1 tablespoon portions. Put it on a sheet pan or on some parchment paper, and then just put it in the freezer. And then you can freeze it into little 1 tablespoon pucks. So the next time you have a recipe that calls for tomato paste, you're able to just take out 1 puck, 2 pucks, whatever, and then you're good to go, okay? So let's see, so we want some garlic powder, or you could use fresh garlic if you prefer. Some Italian seasoning. I'm hooked on the Pampered Chef Italian seasoning. This stuff is honestly the absolute bomb. It's crazy the difference that quality herbs can make. I tried this Italian and I felt so bad for Clubhouse when I tried it. I was just like, oh, poor Clubhouse, this stuff's way better. I use lots of Clubhouse, don't worry. Clubhouse is not losing any money on me, but this, it was like I couldn't go back after I tried it. It was just good. Okay, now I like to add a little bit of sweet to mine. So a little bit of maple syrup in there, and I am a Libra, I like my balance. So if I'm going to add sweet, I'm also gonna add some sour. So gotta throw in a couple teaspoons of lemon juice there as well. And I'm just gonna give that a quick mix. Now you know my top secret recipe. It's funny how much flavor and how much thickness just adding a couple tablespoons of tomato paste will do. So I'm just gonna put a lid on that, and then we have that ready for our pizza night. So we're gonna put that in the fridge. Okay, and guys, if that's all the gumption you have in you, then you are good. You made it through level 2, you did awesome. If you still have a little more gas in the tank, there are a couple things left for level 3. I know this is a lot of prep, but these are going to be some good meals. And they are going to come together very simply. I'm going to put together my pizza dough. This pizza dough is going to be fine to just wrap in saran wrap and keep in the fridge for a couple days. There's going to be nothing wrong with it. So you can skip this step if you decide that you want to buy yourself pizza crust, or maybe you're using a crust mix that you already know and like. So you can definitely do that as well. So I'm gonna add a cup of oil in there. Got too many things out here. Oh, it's right in front of me. I'm using a 3/4 cup scoop so that I can just do my 1.5 cups of flour easily. So generally, if you do decide to make your own gluten-free pizza dough instead, you are going to be saving yourself a bit of a premium, and it's also going to taste better. Like when you make your own pizza dough, it's just going to taste better than if you're getting something from the freezer section of the grocery store. Now, need some water as well. So, heat up that water so I can put that in here. Throw in an egg. Some sugar. Some yeast. Some salt. And water in there. So I'm going to throw it in the stand mixer. And there, I set the timer for 5.5 minutes, and I'm just gonna let it beat. So the very last thing that I'm going to do is that I am going to just butterfly some chicken breasts. That's going to be for the fried chicken salad. So I'm using what's called a frozen cut to butterfly. And this is the last thing I'm doing because there's raw chicken. So as soon as I use my raw chicken, then I am done with my cutting board. If you have other things to do right now, if you have extra items in your fridge that you need to figure out what to do with, you can figure out if you can incorporate them into a side dish or process them in some other way. And you can choose to do that now if you would like to, before you do your chicken and make everything all chickeny. I'm using a close and cut. This thing is spring loaded so that it'll give me 2 perfectly equal halves. You can buy your chicken already butterflied and cut in half if you don't have one of these machines and you're scared of cutting yourself. It's not worth cutting yourself over. You can buy it that way, but this, for me, just seems like an obvious solution. There we go. So that way it's just going to cook more evenly if they're all even. There we go. Chicken is ready to go. So I'm going to throw my sausages. Breakfast sausages, they're in a container, they're ready to go. As soon as that dough is all made, I'm just gonna wrap it in some saran wrap and I'm just gonna put that in my fridge. So that's all gonna be ready to go. Guys, that's it. You did it. You just prepped for 3 full meals and they're gonna be delicious, satisfying meals. Like, you're not even gonna believe you're gluten-free this week. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope to see you next week and I love to hear what you think. See you soon. Bye-bye.